Okay, boys, welcome back to part 3 of Practical Electricity. This is where I teach you how to use electricity safely. Now, just so you know that there are a couple of safety features that are included in all our household appliances and even inbuilt into our house itself. So the first thing that all of you must know is that every appliance, usually every appliance or every 3-pin plug is fused. So what is a fuse? Now let me show you what a fuse is. Okay, so these are fuses. Usually they are very small and they are one-time use. So what you can see here, this little wire is actually a wire that will melt and literally break apart if the current passing through it is too high. And when it melts and it breaks, what happens is that it creates an open circuit, thus stopping the current flow. And this is one fuse that has been broken, and therefore you can see that it literally melts. The wire is no longer in contact. So this is a fuse, and usually these sort of fuses are placed in a 3-pin plug over here. So if you see here, this is a fuse that's placed in a 3-pin plug. Alright, so that's a fuse. The next thing, so when will the fuse melt or create the open circuit? So if I have a fuse that is rated 13 amperes, this means that the fuse will blow or melt, the wire in the fuse will melt if the current passing through the fuse is greater than 13 amperes. Okay, so 13 amperes is the maximum working current for that appliance if you put a 13 ampere fuse into that. Switch. Everyone is very familiar with a switch. Very simply, if you know you're going to work on a electrical appliance internally, best thing is close the switch, turn off the switch. Now, couple of things. Both the fuse and the switch must be placed on the live wire. And this is because by switching off the switch, you'll disconnect the live voltage from the appliance, thus saving you, so the person and the appliance, any grief. Okay, so you'll be safe. And the third safety feature is the earth wire. I'm sure you've heard of the earth wire before, because now in every 3-pin plug, usually the top pin is reserved for the earth wire. Now what this does is that if any live wire, by unfortunate chance, live wire touches the metal casing of the appliance. Now what happens is that the earth wire will immediately draw the current to the ground, so that if you touch it, if let's say this is your appliance and the live wire is touching the appliance, so if you touch it, the current will go through you and you will die. But we don't want that, right? So what happens is that we don't want you to die. So what happens is we will put a earth wire that if any current goes through the metal casing, the current will go down to earth, and therefore if now you touch it, you will be safe. Okay, so remember there are 3 safety features that we'll be concentrating on. So let's start with the fuse. So fuse, safety device, and I already told you that any excessive current flowing through it will melt the thin copper wire and thus creating an open circuit, stopping the current where it is. Now fuses should be connected to the live wire, remember that, so that the appliance will not get damaged and you will be safe after the fuse has blown. This is the symbol for the fuse. This is the symbol for the fuse. Please make sure you know how to recognize it and to draw it. And to calculate what is the fuse rating we need, we use P equals to IV. Now this should look familiar to you because we have gone through it before. Next, the earth wire. Now the earth wire is always connected to the metal case. Alright? And I already explained to you, if the metal case should accidentally become live, the earth wire protects any user by drawing the current down to earth so that when you touch the metal case, you will be fine. Okay, so this is the explanation. I'll give you a minute to read it. Pause it, read it. Okay, so this is the fuse that we were talking about. Right, I showed you a picture of it over here. So this is the fuse. This is the earth wire. Okay, and we are going to study this 3-pin plug now. Okay, so this is a drawing of what we just saw. Now, couple of things you have to remember. Remember the colors corresponding to the type of wire. So if I have the earth wire, remember earth must be green and yellow in color. Okay? The live wire must be brown in color. And the neutral wire should be blue in color. Okay? And what it looks like, I'll show you this one more time, is this. Now this different colors will help electricians wire up your housing circuit so that they don't accidentally put the live wire as the earth wire and then everyone dies. Alright? So that's bad. Dying is bad. So remember the color corresponding to the type of wire. And I told you the fuse is always connected to the live wire. Okay, these two are always connected together here. Alright, so remember this. And this is typically how it is connected. Let's say this is a water heater. I have the live wire. Let's choose a funky color here, maybe an orange. So I have the current running through the live wire. It passes through the fuse. If I close the switch, sorry, I should close the switch first. Current passes through, passes through the heater, and because the heater is meant to heat up, this will create some heat. Yeah, and then current flows through and back into the neutral, and then the whole cycle goes round again. Now notice nothing happens to the earth wire if the heater is working properly. Okay, so nothing happens to the earth wire if the heater is working properly. So what happens if the earth wire suddenly touches the metal casing? In this case, the metal casing goes live, and this is where the current is drawn out to the earth. Okay, so remember, the earth wire only works if something goes wrong. Yeah, so this is how it's connected. Usually you will only see one cable, and when you plug it in, the 3-pin plug, so this is your 3-pin plug to the wall, and the 3 colored wires are inside one big insulated material. It will connect up to the live, neutral, earth, to whatever appliance that you use. There's also something called double insulation. So this is the symbol. This is the symbol for double insulation. You must know it. And what happens is that it provides 2 levels of insulation. So this is what it looks like. Yeah. This is 1 insulation. This is 2 insulation. Double insulation. And how is it wired up in the house? This is, if you look around your house, you will see the 3-pin plug is, the power socket is always on the wall, and the 3 wires are hidden behind usually some sort of false cabling or false plastic covering. Okay, because we do not want to give you straight up access to the live and neutral wires. That's dangerous. Okay, now because everything is arranged like this, you should also know that appliances must be wired in parallel. So in this arrangement, the appliances are wired up in parallel, so that if one appliance breaks down, the rest of the appliance will still be able to work. Okay, so this is the end of part 3. I shall stop you here. Go back once again, watch the video if you have to, consolidate your learning, and I will start on the last and final part in the next video. So remember, any questions, any problems you face, write me an email at yeo_haig_gene_at moe.edu.sg, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. See ya.